What's up, guys? It's the Walking Entity back at it again. This time with a bit more of a bit more serious. What's up, guys? It's the Walking Entity back at it again with another video for you guys. This time it's a bit more serious of a video. It takes a very serious turn into the fact that I almost died, and I'm actually putting this video out just to let everyone know what happened and how this almost died incident occurred. There is like background footage that I haven't shown most people about the crash itself, and being a YouTuber, I actually vlogged it after I made sure I had no injuries and stuff. It's something very serious. It was scary, and it, to a point, traumatic, but not where I'm actually affected by it now. It was a serious case of being scared, being alone, and not knowing how to handle the situation type thing. Basically, I was traveling home. I left campus at around 4 o'clock. I planned to get home at around 9:30, depending on traffic. And this was the Wednesday before the Easter weekend. So this was still in March. It was late March, early April where this incident took place. Now, I forgot the exact date, but I know it was the Wednesday before the Easter weekend. And so, with everyone going to the coast, which is near where I live, for the weekend, the roads were packed, and that's why I estimated I would be home after give or take 5 hours. So on my way home, there were a few accidents which caused, not involving me, there were a few accidents that it caused traffic congestion and traffic jams and backing up of a whole lot of cars, and which also delayed everyone. So I did encounter a few of those. One of the worst ones, which I could actually say was a indirect cause of my accident, was one that happened 3 hours into my journey. So I was roughly 2 hours away from home, and there were these two trucks that caught a light. I don't know how they caught a light. I just know that they affected both the oncoming and my lanes. So the oncoming lanes and my lanes. And the road at the time only had 2 lanes going southbound and 2 lanes going northbound. So both sides of the road were affected, and I was stuck in that traffic for about 3 hours. So it got a bit intense when I actually had to wait in that traffic, and there was no signal in the area. There was no signal in the area as well, so I had to make do with what I had, meaning that I couldn't keep myself occupied with just my phone because 1, my battery was gonna die, and 2, I needed it for music and for messaging and stuff. But I couldn't contact my parents, I couldn't contact my guardians, I couldn't contact my friends, I couldn't make any contact whatsoever. I couldn't even go on the internet. There was no signal whatsoever. So I basically just rode that wave, 3 hours waiting in traffic, got past that traffic jam, that accident point, and I carried on for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, going home. And just as I passed the accident point, I knew I was home free. There was nothing that was gonna hold me back from getting home now safely and quickly. So excuse the stuttering. I am I'm trying to think of what happened in detail. So yeah, this was around 12:15 when I passed the accident point of the 2 trucks. There was no traffic afterwards on my side of the lane, but on the opposite lane, as I said, they had the exact same effect, just in the opposite direction. So they were also stuck in traffic for around, give or take, 3 hours, and this is where the problem comes in. I was traveling home. Right now, in South Africa, we drive on the left-hand side of the road, right? So we have a general rule. So it's keep left, pass right. If you're traveling faster than the person in front of you, you usually pass on the right lane. so they'd have to move over if you're on the right lane and they're slowing you down, right? The thing is, I couldn't drive on the right lane, and this is crucial for what I'm about to tell you next. I couldn't drive on the right lane because there were a lot of cars jutting out, and I'll show you an illustration a bit later of what this looks like. But there were cars jutting out, and they were affecting the right lane. And now this is the highway, so this is me traveling around 120 kilometers per hour, because that's the speed limit, right? The thing is, in that zone, the speed had dropped to 100 kilometers per hour for safety, and because I was also in the dark, I slowed down additionally because I wasn't safe. And another thing is, with there being bumper to bumper traffic on the oncoming lane, that means you've got tons and tons of headlights shining at you, shining in your eyes, which hinders your vision, right? So I basically moved to the left lane, and I stayed on the left lane after that accident point for about 1.5 to 2 minutes, right? So I thought I was home free until I met my accident. My accident now involved a tow truck, not a normal tow truck towing cars. It's the one specifically made to tow heavy vehicles, more importantly, trucks, right? So there was a truck on the side of the road. He was off the road, right? Then there was the tow truck who was infringing the left lane. He was on the left lane. He was impeding, if I could use that word. He was impeding on the left lane. He had no lights on, nor did the truck, no hazard lights on, no indicators, no flashlights, no caution lights, whatever you want to call them. There were no emergency lights whatsoever, right? So I saw this huge vehicle approaching me. Well, obviously I was approaching it, but it got closer and closer, very quickly, closer and closer to me very quickly. And I only saw it within, give or take, 10 meters of the front of my car and the tow truck itself. And I ended up moving as fast as I can to the right hand side of the of our road. Let me say, from the left hand side to the right hand side. But I wasn't quick enough. Unfortunately, the front left of my car, my VW up, hooked that tow truck, causing that tow truck to get pushed off the road entirely and actually go up the bank that was parallel to the roads. And it caused me to do a 180-degree spin and end up on the oncoming lane. So where there was bumper to bumper traffic, I ended up on the oncoming lane. Thankfully, thank God that there was traffic there, because if there wasn't, this would have been a different video. To be honest. So I spun 180 degrees and was stopped by two other trucks in the oncoming lane. They were stationary, or moving at like 2-3 kilometers per hour, because it's bumper to bumper traffic, so you're moving extremely slowly. And it's the type of traffic where you switch your car off and you just wait for the movement, and then drive forward, stop again, switch off. It was something like that. So I hit one truck, which ended up on my door. This will be much clearer in the illustration. And I ended up having another truck behind my car, middle of it, another truck, or my car wedged in the middle of another truck. So after I had made sense of the incident, I jumped out the passenger window. I couldn't open my door because there was a truck on my side, as I just said. I couldn't go through the passenger door because it didn't want to open, and so the windows were completely busted. So yeah, I basically I jumped through the passenger window, but before I did that, I tried to put my hazards on. Funny enough, the button didn't want to press because the car was completely busted. The lights weren't working. Nothing in the car was working at all. So I tried to find my phone, and as you guys know, I wear glasses most of the time, and usually when I'm recording as well. So I ended up losing my glasses in the accident. It flew out of the window and ended up on the road. So I only knew that after I was out of the car. So I had to squint in the dark and look for my phone, get my phone, jumped out the window, looked at the car, checked myself, made sure I didn't have any broken bones, broken ribs, well, ribs I won't, broken bones, any bleeding. I couldn't check for internal bleeding, which was my concern, but thankfully, thank God, this was seriously a miracle. I walked out of this accident um, without any serious injuries. Like, I got minor cuts and bruises and swelling, which I'll describe a little later. But I walked out of this incident without any broken bones, without any major cuts, major bruises, major bleeding. Yeah, so I got off the car. I was by myself, by the way. I was by myself. I got off the car, phoned my father, told him not to worry, and now this is around 12:30, midnight. So I left Wednesday 4 o'clock, 4 p.m., and this happened Thursday morning at 12:30. Excuse me. Yeah, so I basically just, I told him what happened, told him not to worry. They were awake because me being their child, they were very worried of, this type of incident, because it is a serious case, especially when driving late at night. My plan was to be home by about 9:30. Here I am in this accident at 12:30 Thursday morning, and I'm still about one, give or take 2 hours, just under 2 hours away from home. And so I'm thinking, how am I going to get home? How am I going to take my bags? How am I going to take my books? I had most of my luggage with me. So my textbooks, my clothes, my computer, everything was with me, and I wasn't stressed, but I was worried that I wouldn't be able to take that. So after I let my father know, he contacted my uncle, who then arranged a tow truck to come and help me out, because as Indians, we have connections. We were able to move the car off the oncoming lane and onto the southbound lane, which I will show you now. So southbound meaning I was going home, move it off onto the side of the road, and allow traffic to continue moving. It was a life-changing event, let's say that. Like, you honestly take for granted how easily it is you can lose your life, and how easily you can lose others. So treasure the time you have with the people that are by your side now, because you never know what's going to happen before the next time you could see them, if you understand what I'm saying. So when you're given time, regardless of whether you're fighting or whether you're in a relationship or whether you're in a bad place with a person, if you love that person, like as if they're family or a friend or girlfriend, boyfriend, treasure the time you have with them now, because you never know what could happen. Because we don't have control of when we could die. About my situation, it was a serious situation, and I really thought that this could be the end, because I saw that truck, I hit that truck, closed my eyes, and then, if it's my time, it's my time. I accepted it. But you, in a situation where you caught off guard like I was, and you know what's going to happen next, don't panic. It's hard for me to explain this, because it was a feeling that happened so quickly. It's hard. All I'm saying is, treasure the time you have now, and live your life cautiously, but also, as I like saying, live a life worth telling as well. So I will now switch to the illustration, and later on in the video I will show you after the illustration, after the illustration I will show you the clip that I took. It shows my car, it shows the interior of the car, the exterior, it shows the road I was on, it shows the truck, or the tow truck I hit, which funny enough, after I hit caught a light, and I'm saying this is funny because my car, the move up is a very small car, and that tow truck was huge. And for my car to send that tow truck not only off the road but onto the bank, the embankment, was unbelievable. Honestly, it was unbelievable. The okay, and then I was also okay. So after the car was moved, someone came. My parents and my uncle organized someone to come and pick me up. Um, so I transferred my books, my bags, all the stuff I could take from the car. I put it into the guy that was transporting his vehicle, and I was able to actually, thankfully, take everything except for the car itself. Obviously, it was also it's also like kind of sad because I've never seen that car since. I knew that I wasn't going to, so it was sad like saying goodbye because this was my first car. I had it for about 2 years, just over 2 years, and it's with your first car you tend to build a relationship, and it's something that you treasure, like a relationship with a friend or with family. You tend to treasure this, especially me, because traveling to university and back, I would travel alone. So it was just myself, my car, and my music. And I just travel to campus and back a couple times a week. And that's how I built such a strong relationship with my car. So saying goodbye to this car, and you know how she protected me. Yes, my car is a she. Okay, it's a she. So yeah, how she protected me because she's a small car. How the physics and mechanics behind these type of safety incidents, or should I say safety factors of the car, have escalated from the 1900s to now. It's extraordinary because my car, you wouldn't think that the person in the car, after you see the photos, I will show the photos and the video, but you wouldn't think this car or the person in the car would survive. But this is a miracle, and I will say it time and time again. It's a miracle that I walked out of this accident without any broken bones, any injuries, anything serious. So actually, I think the biggest cut I got was here on my arm. Here. So this little gash, I think that was the biggest cut I got. Now when you see the accident, I guarantee you'll be surprised at how that's my biggest injury. My elbow did swell up a bit because it hit the my door, and I think my top lip also it also swelled up a bit because my face obviously hit the airbag, but it wasn't like puffed up. It was big. There were like a tiny cut inside because of the braces that I wear. So I kind of cut the inside of my lip. But other than that, that was basically it. And the seatbelt, guys, I can't stress this enough. The seatbelt is so important, regardless of whether you're traveling 10 kilometers per hour or 100 kilometers per hour. It is so important that you wear a seatbelt because that seatbelt saved my life. So my seatbelt literally went from my left shoulder to my right hip, and I did have like minor bruising there, but that's because the seatbelt pulled me back. Not left shoulder, right shoulder. It was right shoulder to left hip because it went across me, and so because it held this shoulder back, this left shoulder had nothing stopping it. So momentum was still moving it forward, and so I did have a minor injury. Like I couldn't lift stuff for like a week because there was like a slight pain on in my shoulder. But now it seems to be working. Seems to be working properly. But yeah, let's skip to the illustration. This is the southbound. So southbound meaning it's going towards Durban, which is on the east coast of South Africa, and this is the northbound going towards Pretoria, right? So they're going to where I was coming from, if that makes any sense. Basically, I couldn't drive on the right hand side of the lane, which is the fast lane, the general fast lane, because in traffic, I mentioned that there was backed up traffic due to those two trucks collision, or let's just say that accident involving the two trucks, right? I couldn't drive on the side of the road because there were cars jutting out like that, so impeding on my side of the road. There's no barrier here, it's just a line, a solid line that you can't pass. So that allowed them to kind of jut out. And in traffic, people are not going to be organized in such a perfect line to the point where you can just drive right by them. People will deviate, and that's what happened here. And that's what caused me to drive on the left lane in the first place. So, in doing so, it actually got me into an accident. So, trying to avoid a potential accident, hooking them and spinning, I moved to the left lane and got into my accident, which I'm about to explain now. So this is the truck that was being towed. This is the tow truck, okay, that was towing that truck. This was the truck that I wedged the back of my car in between, and this is another truck that I hit the driver's side of, or the right-hand side of my car with. So I was driving roughly 90 kilometers per hour in a 100 kilometer zone. So I wasn't speeding, I wasn't in a rush to get anywhere. I knew I was safe and sound and I was on my way. But I didn't realize that this night could go so horribly wrong. And so this is what happened. I was driving on the left-hand side of the road and approached this mysterious figure. It was huge. It was, it took up the whole lane, and I didn't know what it was until I got to hit it, unfortunately. So I made out that there was an object, but that was only within 10 meters of the side of the tow truck and the front of my car. Okay, because he had no lights on, no emergency flashing lights, no caution lights, nothing. So I didn't know there was anything here until my lights shone into the side of his car, revealing the safety strips, the chevron strips, or whatever strips they called, on the side of his truck, which then caused me to react and not turn but swerve as much as I could to the right-hand side. I tried to swerve as much as I could, but unfortunately the front left of my car hit the front right of his tow truck, which then caused his tow truck to go off not only the road, but onto the embankment parallel to the road. So his car was actually like at an angle up the embankment, right? That afterwards, my car, after I hit him, my car spun. So I hit him, spun 180 degrees, ended up on the oncoming lane, hitting one truck, hitting not only one truck, but two. So I wedged myself in between this truck and I hit the front of this truck with the side of my car. I mentioned that I got out the passenger window. This is the part where there's no cars here, obviously, because the traffic was moving. These two trucks were stationary after I stopped every other car on the northbound lanes. Traffic wasn't moving here because of the accident, obviously, so there were no cars in these regions. My car, thankfully, after a few minutes, or let's just say, a couple minutes, was moved to this side of the road, which is where the video that I'm about to show you guys was taken. I'll show you the front, the inside, and the back of the car. And I also show you the tow truck and how it's actually on the embankment. These two trucks were able to now get out of the way, allowing traffic to move. And my car had, after obstructing both sides of the road, is actually off this road now, allowing traffic to go towards Durban as well, or allows the movement of cars southbound. So basically, this was the event. It could have been avoided, but this person with the tow truck was It was ridiculous because this could have all been avoided. The cost of getting a new car, the cost of paying off this car, the cost that he also had repairing his car because it also caught a light could have been avoided if he had his tow truck like that. But he didn't, caused the accident, and that's basically how life works, I guess. Okay. Oh, what's up, guys? This is one of the worst situations to actually vlog, but I have to do this anyway. I was in an accident, a very bad accident. Here's my car. You can tell it's really bad. Airbags, it was just me in the car anyway. So, yeah. This is the car. I will explain more in an actual video, but this is the live footage. They're saying I hit that truck over there, swerved, ended up on the other side of the road, hit 2 other trucks, and thank you Lord that I survived this thing, because this car is total. This car is just absolutely gone. Oh shucks. So there's the front, back, glass everywhere. Yeah. Sure. Don't know how I did this, but see, I made it out. Made it out, thank you Lord. But now this thing is on fire. There's a truck, like the one I hit is on fire somehow. But thankfully I'm saved. I can go now. I can go. Goodbye, Sarah. Thank you for everything. You will be missed. Thanks. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was informative. I hope that you, I wouldn't say enjoy it, but I hope that now you'll live your lives a bit more cautiously after hearing what I had to say about my incident. I hope you have a great day, great week, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace.